In a press release, the armed forces said that altogether 9 sites have been targeted. The Ministry of Defence press release says, and I quote, "Our actions have been focused, measured and non-escalatory in nature. No Pakistani military facilities have been targeted. India has demonstrated considerable restraint in selection of targets and method of execution. These steps come in the wake of the barbaric Pahalgam terrorist attack in which 25 Indians and 1 Nepali citizen were murdered. We are living up to the commitment that those responsible for this attack will be held accountable," unquote. And joining me for more on this developing story is my colleague Akshay Dongre. Akshay, walk our viewers, if you will, through the developments over the night, including the commencement and execution of Operation Sindoor.
Well, Operation Sindoor has been executed with a lot of precision that was only possible because of a joint operation that was conducted by all the wings of the Indian Armed Forces. The Indian Navy, Air Force and the Indian Army conducted this operation jointly. Missiles and other kind of ammunition and arms that have been used. It remains confidential. However, sources tell us that scalp missiles from Rafales and loitering munition also may have been used as far as this attack is concerned. At 10 a.m. there is going to be a press briefing by the Indian Armed Forces where all of these questions will be answered. But to take our viewers to the entire night as far as the activities are concerned, around pre-dawn, information was given to the nation and to the world that India has conducted Operation Sindoor, striking 9 locations inside Pakistan. Now, many of these locations are inside Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, like Muzaffarabad, and many are even in the Pakistani territory. For example, Sialkot. There are other areas as well that have been attacked by the Indian missiles. As far as the infrastructure of terrorists are concerned, including in Bahawalpur, there is Sialkot, there is Muridke, that is near Lahore. So all of these are the areas where where intelligence was gathered from earlier, that the terror groups, including Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Taiba, where exactly are they operating from, and with precision only these terror camps have been targeted. After the information that trickled in at 2 a.m., after the Indian Armed Forces announced the Operation Sindoor, videos started trickling in from even Pakistan about the devastation that were caused in these respective areas. However, this was a very restrained attack. This was a non-escalatory attacks that were carried out against Pakistan, especially the Pakistani terror groups that were also involved in the Pahalgam massacre of tourists based on their religion. Clearly, the kind of operation that has been conducted could only be possible through jointmanship of all the 3 wings of the Indian Armed Forces, and the kind of weaponry that has been used and the kind of ammunition that has been selectively used for precision-based bombing inside these particular areas. And soon after the attacks were conducted and executed, Pakistan once again for the 13th day straight violated the ceasefire, and this time for the past 12 days there have been violations happening from Pakistani side, and Indian army has been retaliating. However, last night, as soon as Operation Sindoor was executed, Pakistan launched artillery strikes not only at the LOC but also at the international border as an act of war. Clearly what we are monitoring at this point in time is the damage that is being caused by these artillery strikes as well, which has unfortunately led to the demise of 3 unarmed innocent civilians who were at their homes. The nefarious design by Pakistan is to not only launch attacks, but to launch attacks at civilian areas where people cannot defend themselves against the Pakistani shelling, because at the places where the Indian army is deployed and the Indian army is present, the shelling by Pakistan is also being retaliated against, and proper and proportionate response is being given to these shelling and artillery strikes by Pakistan. However, what remains to be seen right now, Ramesh, is the kind of response that will be from here on, because as according to the Indian Armed Forces, the phase 1 of Operation Sindoor has been conducted. So what exactly is in store for operations ahead, that still remains confidential, and it should remain confidential for the operational procedure, operational and safety of the personnel involved as well.
Right.
Ramesh, soon after, just one more thing, soon after the attack, Pakistan has in fact gone into denial. It has already started propaganda. The defense minister started making fake claims earlier that Pakistani army has captured several of the Indian Armed Forces personnel, and they have been taken as prisoners of war. However, soon, some minutes later, that statement was retracted because the kind of information that was being fed to even the defense minister of Pakistan were fake. Similarly, several such fake news are being spread by the Pakistani side as far as action is concerned, that the government is claiming that they have already taken. So after days of warmongering, chest thumping, finally India has retaliated and acted against these terror groups and terror camps that are operational all over in Pakistan.
Indeed, and just to reinforce the point, the last bit that Akshay was making, Pakistani government, Pakistani agencies are known to propagate fake news, make false claims,